Once upon a time, there was a small village named Sankara. This village was home to a young man named Ananda, a seeker of truth, who was deeply troubled by the constant turmoil of his own mind. Ananda's thoughts were like a wild river, always flowing, restless, and uncontrollable. He longed for peace, for a way to still the chaos within, but he did not know how to find it. One day, a wise and revered Buddhist monk named Sumedha arrived in Sankara. His reputation as a master of the mind and a teacher of profound wisdom had spread far and wide. People from neighboring villages would come to listen to his teachings, and it was said that even the most troubled minds found solace in his words. Ananda, hearing of Sumedha's arrival, was eager to meet the monk and seek his guidance. With a heart full of hope, he approached the temple where the monk was staying. As Ananda entered the temple, he found Sumedha sitting in meditation. The monk's presence was calm and serene, like the still surface of a lake. Ananda bowed deeply before him, and after a few moments of silence, Sumedha opened his eyes and smiled warmly. "Welcome, young one," the monk said in a gentle voice. "What troubles your heart?" Ananda hesitated for a moment, gathering his thoughts before speaking. "Revered monk, my mind is like a monkey, always jumping from one thought to another. I am constantly filled with worry, fear, and doubt. I long for peace, but my thoughts are like a storm that I cannot control. How can I quiet my mind and find the inner peace that you embody?" Monk Sumedha nodded, understanding the young man's plight. "Your mind is indeed like a monkey," he said. "In fact, the Buddha himself spoke of this monkey mind. But do not despair, for there is a way to tame it. Let me tell you a story that may help you understand." Ananda listened intently as Sumedha began his tale. Long ago, in a vast forest not far from here, there lived a large troop of monkeys. These monkeys were led by a wise and powerful monkey king. The king was strong and agile, with a mind as sharp as his claws. He was well respected by the other monkeys, who looked to him for guidance. One day, the Monkey King heard of a hermit who lived deep in the forest, a man who had attained great wisdom through years of meditation and solitude. The hermit was said to have tamed his own mind and lived in perfect peace. Curious and eager to learn, the Monkey King decided to visit the hermit and seek his wisdom. The journey to the hermit's dwelling was long and arduous. The Monkey King traveled through dense jungles, crossed swift rivers, and climbed steep mountains. Finally, after many days, he arrived at the hermit's simple hut, hidden among the trees. The hermit, a man of few words, welcomed the Monkey King with a nod and offered him a seat on a stone beside the hut. The Monkey King, who was not accustomed to silence, quickly began to speak. "O wise hermit, I have heard of your great wisdom and the peace you have attained. My mind is restless, constantly jumping from one thought to another. Even as I speak to you, it is difficult for me to focus. How do you control your thoughts? How can I find the peace that you have found?" The hermit smiled, understanding the Monkey King's plight. "Your mind is indeed like a monkey," he said. "But tell me, have you ever tried to control a monkey?" The Monkey King was taken aback by the question. "Of course," he replied. "I am the king of monkeys. I control my subjects with strength and cunning." The hermit shook his head gently. "The mind is not like your subjects," he said. "It cannot be controlled through force. If you try to bind a monkey, it will only struggle harder to break free. The more you try to suppress your thoughts, the more they will rebel." The Monkey King frowned, confused. "Then how can I control my mind?" he asked. The hermit closed his eyes for a moment, as if searching for the right words. Then he spoke again, his voice soft and calm. "Imagine you are sitting in a quiet forest, watching a group of monkeys playing in the trees. They jump from branch to branch, chattering and swinging. You cannot stop them from playing, but you can choose not to follow them. You can sit quietly and watch, without becoming entangled in their games." The Monkey King listened carefully, beginning to understand. "So, You are saying that I should not try to control my thoughts but simply observe them? Yes, the hermit replied. When you observe your thoughts without attachment, without trying to control or suppress them, they lose their power over you. Just as the monkeys will eventually tire and settle down, your thoughts will also become calm and peaceful, if you let them be. The Monkey King was silent for a long time, reflecting on the hermit's words. Finally, he nodded. I see now, he said. I have been trying to control my mind with force, but I must learn to watch my thoughts with detachment. The hermit smiled, pleased that the Monkey King had understood. Remember, he said, the mind is like water. When it is turbulent, you cannot see clearly. But when it is still, the truth is reflected in it like a mirror. Be patient with yourself, and with time, your mind will become as calm as a still lake. The Monkey King thanked the hermit for his wisdom and returned to his troop. From that day on, he practiced the art of observing his thoughts without attachment. Slowly but surely, his mind became more peaceful, and he found the inner tranquility he had been seeking. As Sumedha finished the story, Ananda felt a sense of clarity and calmness wash over him. The story of the Monkey King and the hermit resonated deeply within him, and he realized that he had been approaching his own mind in the wrong way. Thank you, Bhante, Ananda said, bowing deeply. I understand now. I have been trying to control my thoughts with force, but I must learn to observe them without attachment. Sumedha smiled warmly. Yes, young one, the mind is like a wild monkey, but with patience and practice, you can learn to watch it without getting caught in its games. Remember, peace comes not from controlling your thoughts, but from understanding and accepting them as they are. Ananda left the temple that day with a renewed sense of purpose. He began to practice mindfulness, observing his thoughts without judgment or attachment. Over time, his mind became more peaceful, and the storms of worry, fear, and doubt began to subside. Ananda found the inner peace he had been seeking, and his life became a reflection of the tranquility that now resided within him.